It's Saturday, we have a full day in the garden, we have lots to harvest, and we'll be making breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But before all that, I'd like to start the day with a quick but essential bug patrol. A quick morning inspection like this can save you major problems later on in the season. You can prevent a lot of pests from causing too much damage, and you can also learn how they behave and what plant they're attracted to. Here we've got Japanese beetles making themselves at home on our leaves. Not exactly invited guests, but the key here is catching them early before they can do serious damage. And over here in the squash blooms, we're mainly dealing with cucumber beetles, and these can spread bacterial wilt. And in the morning, they can be easily spotted inside the blooms, so I make sure to check the flowers often to keep our squash plants healthy. Speaking of morning routines, this is absolutely the best time to harvest tomatoes, because after a cool night, the plants have pumped all their sugars back into the fruit. The tomatoes are at peak flavor, they're fully hydrated, and they'll store much better than if we pick them in the afternoon heat. And on this side of the garden, we planted several varieties of tomatoes together, including two types of cherry tomatoes. And look at how much fruit this sweet million cherry tomato is producing. They are ripening more and more now, and I get the feeling that we'll be picking more tomatoes this year. And we also have our favorite sunrise bumblebee. It's got a beautiful striped coloring, and this tastes sweet with fruity flavor and a balanced acidity. And beside these cherry tomatoes, we're also growing large-sized tomato like this Berkeley tie-dye. And this is the first fruit that ripened, which means that the rest will start to do the same pretty soon. In the garden, we will always have a spot for micro-dwarf tomatoes, which are great for vertical space and small containers. And we have two varieties here. We're growing orange hat and red robin, which won't grow any taller than this. We also love adding new varieties to our tomato collection, and this year we have a miniature San Marzano tomato, and this one is called Marzito. It's got a great disease resistance and can be eaten fresh or made into sauce. We have more large tomatoes ripening on this side, and this one is called Lucid Gem. This one always makes our list, and we grow this every year. Now if you're looking for a more compact tomato plant, this variety is great for a small container, and it's called Sunrise Sauce. For a small plant, it produces quite a lot of fruits. We're not done with micro-dwarf tomatoes yet. We have more of them growing vertically on this side of the garden. In here we have Rosy Finch. The fruits are plump and much bigger than most micro-dwarf tomatoes that we've grown. Our tomatoes have really loaded up this year, and like I said, we'll be picking way more tomatoes than we expected this year. Here's another micro-dwarf variety, and it's called Ink Spot. And this one has a really cool pigmentation, but the fruit size are very inconsistent. Now this one is perfect to grow on a balcony or patio. It's called Fuzzy Wuzzy, and that's because the leaves and stems are fuzzy. This produces a medium-sized tomato with striped coloring, and it's very abundant. Surrender's Indian curry is another plant that produces quite a lot of fruit, and it is best to use for cooking. So if you're looking for a tomato that doesn't take up a lot of space, this one should be added to your list. These two tomato plants in a self-watering container have been producing fruits for us since we had them growing indoors. This one is a delicious variety and is a cherry type. It's called Sun Gold Tomato. And this one over here is called Prairie Fire. It's sweet and early maturing tomato that is also abundant. Now let's turn this fresh harvest into an amazing breakfast. Nothing beats garden fresh tomato, some farm eggs, sweet onions, cilantro, and sourdough with a bit of cheese. And here's where things get really interesting because we're cooking this entire meal using our EcoFlow Delta Pro 3. During daytime peak hours when electricity rates are highest, we switch to battery power for all our cooking needs. This device can simultaneously run our induction cooktop, toaster oven, and even the coffee maker without breaking a sweat. We're talking about 4,000 watts of continuous power, and that's enough to run most of your kitchen appliances at once. And the best part, we charge this power station during off-peak hours at night when electricity is cheapest. Then we use that stored energy during expensive peak hours. And this isn't the only way to charge this device. There are many other alternatives, and I'll show you that after we have our breakfast. Now that it's afternoon, it's time to top off our Delta Pro 3 with some free solar energy. This 220-watt solar panel might look compact, but it's actually incredibly efficient at converting sunlight into stored power. But let's talk about why the Delta Pro 3 is such a game changer for emergency preparedness. This isn't just about saving money on electricity, it's also about energy independence. During unexpected power outages, gas generators just won't do. They need fuel, they're loud, and you can't use them indoors. At just 30 decibels, the Delta Pro 3 is whisper quiet and can keep your central systems running for days, not hours. And like I said, this one's got multiple charging options, AC wall charging, solar panel like this one, car charging, and even smart generator charging. For a complete home backup, it connects seamlessly through the EcoFlow smart home panel, automatically switching to battery power when the grid goes down. You can even set it up as uninterruptible power supply for your most critical devices. That's your refrigerator, heating system, internet router, and all lights running simultaneously during an outage. On the front, we have two USB-C ports, two fast-charge USB-A ports, 240-volt outlet, and a 120-volt outlet. On the right side, you have an option here to plug your RV. And on the right side, we have 12-volt ports that can charge smaller batteries. Plus, with the X-Boost technology, it can handle appliances up to 5,600 watts. This one is really well designed. It is heavy, but with a retractable handle, it makes it so much easier to move around. And on days like this, we're getting completely free power that could keep us running indefinitely during an outage. As the day winds down, it's time to harvest lunch and dinner ingredients. We've been growing kohlrabies here since spring, and it's now time to harvest the last ones. Earlier in the season, we've been harvesting the biggest ones and allowing the smaller ones to fully mature. And even though they grew this late, they weren't actually woody, they were still pretty crisp, and I like this variety. It's called Sparta. In the greenhouse, we've already switched over to our summer crops, but we still have some carrots left over here. So we're pulling the last ones out, making room for our okras to grow even bigger. Planting carrots around other summer crops is a great way to fill up empty spaces. And they also act as living mulch, keeping the growth of weeds down to a minimum. And for our dinner tonight, we're gonna be needing a few cabbages. And I'm glad we kept some to grow here under the shade, and this one is called Ruby Ball. It's a purple cabbage variety, and this one didn't grow too big under the shade, but there's still a lot here that we can eat. We also grew a Copenhagen market cabbage here, and this one grew the smallest in this spot. It's also being eaten by slugs, which hasn't really been a big problem for us this year due to the extreme heat conditions that we're having. Even though this cabbage is really small, it's still a great find to include it to our ingredients. And this is how we like to grow our garden. We like to grow varieties of vegetables, herbs, and flowers together. Companion planting is a great way to deal with less pests and be able to grow a variety of vegetables in a small space. Here we have national pickle and cucumber growing alongside a tomato, squash, and beans. And another way to maximize your small space is by utilizing any types of vertical growing techniques like a trellis. Just keep in mind where you place your trellis, making sure that you don't block off any smaller plants from receiving sunlight. Just like this chili pepper, for example, we place them in front of the trellis, making sure they receive a good amount of sunlight. And when it comes to repelling pests, herbs are really great at that. Mixing herbs like this onion chives can repel unwanted pests. And lastly, you can also plant flowers to attract many beneficial insects, and if you are planting flowers, try to plant ones that are also edible, like this cat's cherry blossom. The key here is to grow a diverse amount of plants together so that you can create a really great garden ecosystem. When you start a garden, it's like having the ultimate grocery store convenience. There's no driving, no checkout lines, no wondering how long the produce has been sitting on the shelves. And the flavor difference is incredible, and knowing exactly how your food was grown gives you the complete peace of mind about what you're feeding your family. And finally, we're picking the last ingredients that we need to make our lunch and dinner. Under this covered bed, we have beets and carrots. We don't always harvest everything at once. Sometimes we only take what we need, and that's really great, especially when you don't have a meal plan for the day. You can just go out in the garden, and the garden will dictate the ingredients for you. It's time to make something special for lunch, and we'll be making Korean bulgogi bowl with these garden fresh cucumbers and carrots. We're also adding a little bit of spice with chili, flavoring our beef with onion, garlic, ginger, soy sauce, maple syrup, black pepper, and sesame oil. And it's really quick to make this. All you need to do is saute your beef with onion, garlic, and ginger and add your sauce. Then combined everything in a bowl, and we even added our pickled radish and egg. Topped it off with chili, onion, chive, parsley, and to elevate the entire bowl, we added cat's cherry blossom. As the afternoon light starts to shift, it's time for our daily family nature walk. This isn't just an exercise, it's how we stay connected with nature. We also enjoy our daily walks together, it's how we build a strong connection, and we make an effort to make a time for each other. And there's one more thing to do in the garden before we end the day, and that's to adjust our solar dehydrator. Around mid-afternoon, this spot gets a lot of sunlight, so I make sure to place the solar dehydrator every day on this spot. It's been an incredible day from our sunrise bug patrol to our sunset daily family walk, powered by solar energy and fueled by homegrown ingredients. Now it's time to make our dinner to end the day. And dinner time calls for something hearty yet fresh. So we're making a spectacular slaw that celebrates the incredible variety of brassicas we can grow. We're combining red and green cabbage, sweet carrots, crispy kohlrabi, and gorgeous beets. And each of these bring their own unique flavor and nutrition profile. And we're also having some fun with this by serving it on top of crispy popcorn chicken and golden waffles. This combination might sound unusual, but it's absolutely delicious.